Businesses restructured, 200 and more businesses started, 2 MBAs, a decade of experience. We can take your business to a whole new level.
Business Show with Daisy, Eizu and Essay. Welcome back.
Welcome back. You are listening to Hot 93 FM, and we are the Business Show brought to you by Hexavia. What's good, guys?
We're really good. Pretty good.
So today we're talking about innovation, evolve or dissolve, the business and innovators dilemma, problems, decisions, business hashtag business decide 2023. Sorry. So we'll start with what is innovation and how does it happen?
So for me, I'd save us all of that high school, business school jargons. We're not going to start saying innovation is defined as. That's what it is. But innovation for me is 2 words, right? It's new ideas, it's newness, and it's improvement. So innovation is really newness. Innovation is what are you doing that is different from what hasn't been done before. What's the new concept, right? So it could be what's the new idea, what's the new method, what's the new product, or what's the new market. A lot of people start businesses in a saturated market without having a competitive advantage, right? So 20 people are selling the same thing. You want to start selling the same thing, but you're not selling it different. So innovation is about newness and it's about improvement, right? It's about superlatives. How can you be bigger, better, faster, cheaper? Whatever that is what innovation really is.
So when we're talking about the dilemma itself about evolving or dissolving, I feel like if any business is giving the choice between evolution and dissolution, the choice seems obvious. But why is it a choice in the first place?
People don't even I wish people saw it as black and white as this. They would evolve because it looks like evolve is a good thing. The first thing about life is humans don't like change, right? We don't like change. Even when we find what we need to change, right? We don't like change, right? So if you've been in the dark for too long, right, and they turn on the light, you're going to squint. You're probably like, oh, turn on the light, it's too bright, even though you need light. I just said we don't want change, and I just remembered what the election showed us, that we really don't want change, right? A lot of people are going to resist, right? In the words of what's his name now, Harriet Tubman, one of the greatest slave, what do you call it, escapist, right? Sort of, right? She freed so many slaves in her lifetime. There's a great quote she said. She traveled around, she would come back every time to free slaves. Yes. Most of the slaves that she was trying to free would fight her. Sometimes she has to pull out a gun and say, you better follow me to be free or I'll kill you. That's how deep it was. But she had this quote. She said, towards the end of her life, she said something and it became a quote. She said, I freed 1,000 slaves. I did well. But I could have freed 10,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed a lot more if only they knew they were slaves. So a lot of people who run businesses, right, act like they want change to get better, but if you look at how they live their lives and how they run their business, they really don't want change, right? So the first dilemma is the CEO wants change, but it has to be driven by his team members. The team members don't want the change, right? So your team members sabotage the change. Sometimes your customers don't even want change. When the horse and carriage was in circulation, when the form of transportation for rich people were horse and carriage, and they put out a questionnaire and say, what do you want? Everybody said they wanted faster horses. Ford did not give them faster horses. He just created a car. So people didn't even want a car. People wanted faster horses, right? So the dilemma is how do you get to a conviction that this is a better option? But the dilemma is how do you even move to that better option with people? I think that's what the dilemma is. Okay,
cool. So let's break it down into we've talked about steps before.
Yeah.
So let's break it down into that sort of strategy for innovation. What are the steps for innovation?
Wordplay. I like to say if you're a singer, you sing kind of songs you love to read. If you're a singer, you sing kind of songs you love to listen to. If you're a reader, you read. If you're a writer, you read the kind of books you love to read. Steps. I like to even turn that into an acronym. That for you to create a great innovative product, you must follow 5 steps. And that 5 steps have an acronym called STEPS. All right. So let me say this again. For you to create innovation, you must follow steps. And those steps have an acronym, which if you read them is actually steps. So first is STEPS. S is, you must have a story. Every great innovation starts off with a story. A story you want to change. a narrative you want to change, and how you can even put that whole story. That's why when politicians say they want change, or every politician supplies change. Like I like to say, every 4 years, politics is a game of every 4 years, we go to the poll for the same reason why if you have a child, you change diapers, right? Every 4 years, we change politicians like mothers change diapers, full of, right? So, but at the end of the day, it's basically the same thing. But here's the thing. Every politician comes with a caption. Obama literally won the whole election by 3 words. Yes, we can. Right. I think this one is called renewed hope, right?
Yeah.
So even as a business person, you have to have a slogan, right? I remember years ago, I played golf. Years ago, I went to NLNG. NLNG Bonny has one of the best golf courses in Nigeria. And I remember coming down so you can only get to Bonny in two ways, either through the yachts or the speedboat or through the helicopters. I remember coming down in the helicopter and seeing everywhere in Bonny with this caption that says, you know what time it is, do you know what time it is, you know what time it is. Every single thing, you go to their cafeteria to eat, there's a slogan that says, you know what time it is. Someone hands you stuff, you know what time it is. That was a great strategy to change something. What they were trying to say is people spend too much time in one place. Do you know what time it is? It's like, look at your watch.
Yeah.
Sense of urgency, basically. So the first one is S, story. The second one is T, trigger. Every change must have a trigger. The trigger for this Peter Obi movement was NSAS. People forget that.
Yeah.
Right? It was NSAS that would create a trigger for everybody becoming more socially aware and politically aware. So what is your trigger for the change in your business? E is emotions. You've got to connect people's emotions. There were very small packet things that happened that connect people's emotions, and I'm hoping that the president-elect would also tap into the emotions of people. I was just cracking a joke today that, of course, half of Gbadebo, now we now know that Gbadebo Road Driver has an Igbo name. Like, how? Like, he's trying to tap into the emotions of people. Yesterday was given a chieftaincy title in Igbo land. Like, the funny thing about life and about business is that we're not as logical as we think we are. We're actually all emotional beings. A lot of the purchase decisions we make are emotional, right? So connect with emotions. So pay attention. STEPS. You must have a story, have a trigger, have an emotional connection that gets me to buy the change. Then there must be practical value, case studies, experiences, and lastly, social currency. And this actually turns us to the trivia for today. If you can mention the steps, you probably win a ticket to the Breakfast with Eizu on the 18th in Echo Hotel. Buffet style breakfast for CEOs and executives.
What are we talking about?
Just before, of course, the number to call if you would like to participate is 0818-242-6591. You can ask your questions, you can contribute, and of course, partake in the trivia as well. 0818-242-6591. Essay, go ahead.
So what exactly do we talk about at the Breakfast with Eizu at Echo Hotel?
Okay.
Okay, so the breakfast session is, my name is Eizu. I am the MD of Xavier. I spent 14 years building businesses. I sit on a lot of boards. I'm corporate restructuring consultant. I restructure businesses, 4 masters and a PhD in view, a PMP. So I really, every once a month, sit down with top executives, C-suite, military generals, and discuss strategy. So what are we going to talk about? Strategy, system, structure for businesses. So if you're a CEO and executive, or you want to gift your boss, say you've been a great boss to me, I want to give you a ticket to the Breakfast with Eizu. It's a buffet-style breakfast for CEOs and executives at Echo Hotel and Suites. You want to be a part of that? You can follow me on Instagram and send me a DM, or you can send interested. Pay attention, the first 5 people will get a huge discount. It's not free, except you're winning it on this show. All you need to say interested, right, to the number 080-3520-2891. Say interested to 080-3520-2891.
Or again, you can call the number and get the ticket for free99.com. So yeah, moving on, let's talk about change and change management and how that plays into innovation. What are your thoughts on how to initiate or manage change?
Okay, so for me, change. At one end, people don't like change. At another end, there's nothing more constant in life than change, right? Change is the most constant thing in life. So if you want to initiate change, there's a process for it. There's a lot of theories around it. One of my best theories for this is called Kopman. Try to remember the name now. The Kopman theory for change management. I did this in one of my MBAs. It was about if you want to create change, you initiate the change, then you unfreeze the problem, then you change it, then you refreeze it. It's called the freeze unfreeze model, right? So first of all, you want people to do things differently, right? You initiate the change by communicating. Sometimes you communicate in fear, you initiate fear, or you initiate pleasure, right? So you want people to change certain things. You want them to change certain behavior, right? So I saw a particular thing. Nigerians cross through rail lines. It's a culture. In fact, as a culture in Nigeria, we don't cross through rail lines. We sell on rail lines.
That is true.
You go to like Yaba market. People are selling on rail, almost every market. So look at what the Lagos State government is doing, right? I don't know if the Lagos State government, but people are initiating this that, the new rail, blah, 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 is electric. If you cross it, you die. Like, that fear is a part of the change initiation process, right? So you see, change. You want people to change behavior, you promise them hell if they don't change. And that's what the whole fundamental religion, most religions, especially the Abrahamic religions, yes, the Islam, Christian, there's always that promise of paradise and that promise of hell, right? It's people react to pain and pleasure. So as a businessman, you can't create a great change if you don't communicate, and you have to tell a story that is driven by either fear or pleasure. So I think that's the best way to initiate change. And when you start that process, the next thing is you create a massive awareness for it. Then you find people in that whole system you're trying to change to buy into it. See, lobbying is a major part of every CEO's work, right? You have to lobby people. So you want your team to change something. Get some people in that team that even badly behave to be on your side. And see, this Nigeria election is just an amazing election to show you amazing case study. Sorry, not an amazing election, amazing case study to what works and what doesn't work. See, you couldn't have won 24. You shouldn't have won that percentage that you need in 24 states if you don't have alliances with people in those states. So look at the role that Wike played in Rivers, delivering Rivers. That's working inside out, working with someone inside. You see, every change comes from someone external to the system in collaboration with somebody inside the system.
Oh, it's like colonialism.
Yes.
Yeah, like the British indirect rule where like they would come in and create an alliance with the Oba or the Igwe or whoever was in charge in that community or the village. Yeah, and they would rule through that, and they would essentially like it was the British who were taxing women during market women during FRK's time, but it was the Alake that they went to that ended up being deposed at the end of the day. So it's that kind of system in a sense.
It is. That's really how it works. So I think at this point, if you want to call in, contribute to this topic, you definitely can, or you want to win our trivia. We talked about steps, things you must have for this great change, and we said story, trigger, emotions, practical value.
Don't repeat it. You're helping them. It's an exam. If you want to chill with the big boys, if you want to roll with the execs, you want to bam by everything.
So if you
remember what the steps are.
Okay. You don't want him to win these tickets, do you? So, of course, if you think you have the answers, definitely you want to win a ticket to Breakfast with Eizu, right?
With Eizu.
Eizu. Can you spell it, though?
Eizu is spelled as EIZU, for anyone who wants to follow us on Instagram.
Easy. Okay. 0818-242-6591. Again, 0818-242-6591. They are still ready to win the tickets. Hello? Hello?
Hi, hello.
Yeah, hi. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Christian, calling from Aja.
Okay. So do you have the answers?
Sorry, which of the answers?
So what are the
steps?
Yeah. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I would really like to, before I just get to respond, I would love to say thank you very much to Mr. Eizu. I've really been paying and get attention to what he's saying, and it's really making a lot of sense to me. I'm equally taking notes because, it seems to me like a masterclass, which I'm almost not paying for. But then, for the steps, from his explanations, we have stories, right? You must have a story to tell. You must equally have a trigger. What triggers are you actually setting off? We equally have the part that talks about emotions, affinity people's emotions, yeah. We also have the P, which signifies or which stands for practical value, the value you are bringing to the community, to the society, your customers and all, as well as the last one being social currency, yeah. Social currency. I so much love and appreciate that part. So, yeah, I think that forms...
Woo!
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I got you right.
Yes,
you did. I think you had a jar.
You must have been in one of our classes before. How do you know it so fast? Congratulations, you did. Please send us your detail. Right. How would this work now? The last.
Okay. So send this to the WhatsApp number. Are you paying attention?
Okay.
Okay. 0818 double 008
008
99
99
33.
What does your number end with so that it connects with when she sends the number? What's the last
6349.
6349. Okay. Can you call back the number, please? Just to be sure that you have it.
Okay, the WhatsApp number, I'll take it again. 0818
Yeah.
00 899
Yeah.
and 33.
All right. Please send the message before 10 a.m. Okay?
Okay, all right. I'll do that now.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Of course, it is still the business show with Xavier right here. Izzy is here at Esther. Interesting conversation. And you've got tickets to be won on the show. The topic is still Innovation Dilemma, Evolve or Dissolve. We'll go on a short break. We'll be right back.
And we are back on the business show brought to you by Xavier on Hot FM. And we are still talking about innovation, evolve or dissolve, the business and innovators dilemma. We're still taking calls on trivia, but we are not. Again, you will accuse us of being Uniben professors. We are. So we're not allowing you answer the same question again. We're going to switch it up. So keep listening to get what the new question is and what the answers are. So we're still on the topic of innovation, of course. Talking about specifically about triggers, how do you instigate innovation? Because I'm a creative, I understand like the idea of like art for art's sake, that you make arts for the aesthetics of it because it's pretty, because it's nice. Like there's no deeper meaning behind the Mona Lisa. It's a pretty girl in a field, right? So like for innovation, do you, as a business, should you be innovating for innovation's sake because like, you want to be better, or does there need to be more specific inciting force as to what exactly your goal is, what you want to achieve with that innovation?
Your questions I find always rhetorical because the answers are always glaring. Why would you just want to do something for doing sake, not for the aesthetics? Aesthetics is one of the reasons why. And that's the question that people ask when every year iPhone releases a new iPhone. Like every year they add one more. They change the direction of the camera and they call it a new one. So they call it iPhone 11, then they change the camera, call it iPhone 12, switch it around with just a bit of change. But at some point, there's a limit to how far you can do that. So I think that beyond aesthetics, innovation should be driven by functionality. Like the innovation is the art of getting better or creating a new thing. You're not just creating a new thing because you want to create a new thing. It has to be better than the old one. Right. So why do I say, well, what's the difference between iPhone 13 and iPhone 12? Yes, the difference would be the camera quality. Right. It might be that one is waterproof, the other one isn't. Right. But as the more you pack more functionality to it, the better your innovation and the better your competitive advantage. So why do people innovate? For competitive advantage first, right? For it to be functional, it's always important to be able to do that, right? You just can't have it for anything else. And even when it's aesthetics, right? Like what I would discuss this morning about the umbrella thing, right? For example, when everybody already has an umbrella and you want to create umbrella, you're not going to sell me one more extra umbrella because umbrella is umbrella, it's to cover rain. But even at that, that's the perfect example. Why would I do innovation? At that point, aesthetically, yes, you can, because now you can carve an umbrella that is exclusive. Or I remember this year when Diddy was really Diddy. That's when Diddy was Puff Daddy, right? There was this guy called Bentley. I don't know if you know Bentley. The guy that used to follow him was a butler and had an umbrella as a signature. Bentley built a whole brand around umbrella. You know, the umbrella thing shows big status. You're working. That's the reason why the Sultan and the Emirs and them carry people with big umbrellas following them. It's a status symbol. So you can use that. You see why story is important. You can have a status symbol. For example, I know that all Rolls Royce, every Rolls Royce, I'm talking about people that buy Tokumbo Rolls Royce in Nigeria, or people that buy Rolls Royce and upgrade it, right? The real Rolls Royce brand new bought from Coscharis comes with a special umbrella. Rolls Royce don't make umbrella, but they have this partnership with this very premium umbrella company. In the end, all is booga, but then, right, it creates more value. So if anyone comes up with that umbrella, if you know, you know. Like I've been in events where it was raining and somebody comes in, like exclusive HNI high network event, and someone comes with umbrella and I know that the guy had a Rolls Royce downstairs, even though I didn't see the Rolls Royce, because you can't have that umbrella if you don't have a Rolls Royce, except it's China, but really except.
Okay. But I have a question, though. Of course, you talked about the steps to innovation, but then there are people who want to innovate, but then there are certain barriers, and not just because they are resistant to change. It could be, let me say, lack of capital or investment, or even having workers who are not, or employees who are not putting that much effort. So how do they sort of overcome those barriers?
So we always act like innovation is an expensive process.
It could be expensive.
Right. Sometimes the best innovations are usually not as expensive. Matter of fact, there are different types of innovation, right? But if I isolate one type, just to answer the question, is what you call disruptive innovation. Let me give an example. If you own a church, right, to run a vigil, like Nigeria would say night vigil. Nobody put night in vigil. Vigil is already a night, but it's an expensive thing to do. But did anybody follow Nathaniel Bassey's Hallelujah Challenge?
Yeah.
That's innovation in any way you want to look at it. Gives you the same vibe that a vigil will give you, but for lesser price. All you need to run an Hallelujah Challenge with, if you ask me, is a place, right? And a camera phone. That's not an expensive thing to do, right? People that will knock you out of your business might not even be coming with the big box that you're coming through with, right? People should not always assume that every innovation should be expensive. You see, it's not what you don't have that is stopping you. It's what you have and don't know how to use, right? Matter of fact, history has it that the guys that usually beat the big brands with innovation are actually the small guys that don't have money.
They're thinking more.
Yeah, because they think more creatively. It's like David and Goliath. What David used to beat Goliath was a stone. It's not an expensive weapon to have. I mean, the Bible says he picked up a stone. Right? So, and I want people to think about this. What's stopping you is not the big budget you don't have. And I'm not talking theory. I've been running a business since I was 20. Registered my first company 21. Right? Running business 14, 15 straight years. That's just how people calculate my age.
Yeah.
Right? But here's the key thing, right? I know this game. I'm the type of guy who does consulting and management consulting. I know I can't go head to head with PwC, KPMG, Deloitte. I don't try. But I'm looking at what does KPMG, Deloitte, and PwC not have that I can have? Intimacy. I want my clients to feel like I'm your guy, right? If you call me by 11 p.m., I might pick up your call. You're not going to call Deloitte by 11 p.m. You can't even call them when the office time is closed. So sometimes innovation is not always that gigantic idea. It's not always a faster Ferrari over a Lamborghini. That's not innovation. Innovation is just the little things that you do. It's like the guys that saw a bike business and said, wait, this bike business is a multi-billionaire business with malams on bikes all over the place. And somebody created OPay, somebody created GoCarda, that's innovation. It wasn't that much of an expensive experiment to do. It was just put a mobile phone app on an Okada and call it OPay. But of course, see what OPay has transited to. They become a payment platform. They become a lot of things. But it always just starts from that, and people should think that way.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is like knowing your lane. Like everybody, so like not everybody has to bamba with the big boys.
Yeah,
like sometimes
your cloth according to your style.
Essentially, I think and I think a big part of like what you said is like knowing what people's needs are. And I think a good platform for understanding and getting to figuring out and delivering on people's needs is like design thinking. I think we've talked about this before, and the steps. So like the first thing is empathizing, right? Like actually speaking to people and understanding like what their needs are, like what is the issue that they're facing, what's about your business, do they feel could be better, could evolve, things like that.
Hint, we're about to have another trivia. So go ahead. Yeah.
The second step is defining. You're getting all this information. As a filmmaker, you get a lot of notes. People are telling you this and that's about your script. It's not every note that you take. You hone it down to like what is your vision as a business, as an entrepreneur, and what are people saying, and where do you find the middle ground between the two, and that is how you define the problem. And then the third step is ideating. Yeah. So you start to think of ideas like around this like problem that you've defined, like what are different things that we can do, what are different things that we can come up with, what are different things that we can design in essence, and then you build a prototype like based on the ideas you've come up with. You build something that you can show people. Like talking can only take you so far. You need to show people, not tell them that like this is what you want to do, this is what you can do. And so when you prototype and you are able to get people to interact with your idea, you start your testing process. Like if your idea is about customer service and like improving it in some way. You don't necessarily implement it across the 20 stores that you're operating. Maybe start with 1 or 2 and get how people react to that. Like if you're changing the kind of like what the uniforms that your workers are wearing or your payment system, you don't like overhaul it. You start with 1 or 2 stores and like get people's response. How do people react to it? Does it actually make the service better? And then from that, maybe like design thinking, I think is more of a cycle than it is a necessarily linear process. So it's
iterative.
Yeah, so when you get that test, again, you go back to empathizing because you're not just going to say, okay, it works. How do you know it works? You have to ask people. And so whether it's asking your staff or asking your customers again, you essentially go back. And if it's not quite there, you go through the define, ideate, prototype, test process again. And that is the last time I will say those 5 things.
Empathy, define, ideate. Yeah, the rest you have to figure out. So if you've heard how you can call in. Right?
All right. 0818-242-6591. I think you need to tell them again why you're winning tickets. 0818, or what you're winning it for, rather. 0818-242-6591.
Am I just one of the people who love the sound of their name? Like, I love to say, hi, my name is Eizu. This is Eizu. Hi, guys, my name is Eizu. I'm a business and management consultant, 14 years deep, 4 masters, I'm my 4th master's and a PhD, but more importantly, a PMP. And we're doing a session not this weekend, on the 18th of March, and that session is basically around breakfast with Eizu, top executives on the last floor of a hotel. Who's ever been to the last floor of a hotel? It's an amazing view. You get to the of Lagos and the New Eco Atlantic. That's where we're having our breakfast buffet, intercontinental style. Wouldn't you want to be there alongside other CEOs? And that's the ticket you're about to win. It's called the Breakfast with Eizu. Now, you want to attend with your team, you can send interested to the number 080-3520-2891, or you can follow us on Instagram, EIZU. But you can also call in to win the ticket if you know the steps that she just mentioned for design thinking.
Hello? Okay, you're going to have to call back 0818-242-6591. If you want to win a ticket to Breakfast with Eizu right here on the show, 0818-242-6591. All you need to do is answer the question.
Answer the question, what are the 5 steps of design thinking? And I think as we wait for people to call back, I think design thinking can often exist in sort of opposition to another like sort of rule of innovation that's if you build it, they will come. Which I think maybe more applies to like maybe like what Ford did with the cars. Like people ask for faster horses and it's like, well, I don't care about what you say. I'm just going to make a car, and they did that. So I think like how do you sort of balance the two of like asking people for what it is they want and then sort of going with the like, I'm just going to build this thing and if it's good, they will come.
I just remind me of MBA school, business school 2015, question 1A. That's how deep it is. And it was about differentiate between selling concept and marketing concept. That's actually what you just said now. Do you provide a product for your market, or do you provide a market for your product?
Oh, wow.
Right. So that's what you just said, right? So while a lot of people say, take feedback and create, there's a school of thought that actually says the opposite. Actually, Apple as a company sits on that opposite. Apple doesn't ask you what you want. Apple creates it and now sells it, not forcefully, but in a very charismatic way. So, for example, we weren't asking for an Apple Watch when Apple created wristwatch, right? People wanted more Rolexes, want more Audemars, more Patek Philips and stuff. And I look what Apple has done. People don't realize Apple plays in almost every industry. So gadget is what we know, but Apple plays in fashion. When they give you a watch with 7 stripe options, I mean, I tell people Apple is competing with high-end watch. I said, how? I'm like, can you wear a Rolex and an Apple Watch next to each other? They say no. I said, as long as you can't wear 2 of them at the same time, then it's competing. A competition is not someone the same thing as you. Competition is where they'll spend money if they don't spend it with you. Right? Yeah. So I bet you that you will not think that MTN and Nigerian breweries are in competition. You think of MTN and Airtel, right? Or MTN and Glo. But what if I tell that MTN and Nigerian breweries in a model can actually be competitors? Because if I have to make a decision in university campus whether to buy 1 more bottle of beer or 200 naira or 300 naira recharge card, then that's a competition. If I don't know if what I'm saying basically makes sense to us. So just to buttress your point, I agree with you that I belong on the second one. Like, you mustn't create a product for your market. You can create something that they don't need and sell it to people. Like, I don't think anybody right now wanted to do breakfast in a hotel, but now I've sold breakfast. So it's not a bad idea. Okay, I can as well eat in breakfast and still get strategy sessions and still network, right? And that's a stylish way to sell Breakfast with Eizu anyway.
Always marketing.
So if you would like to win a ticket, 0818-242-6591 is the number to call.
So still on the topic of innovation, let's talk about innovation that involves maybe dismantling or dissolving something, like as opposed to creating something new. Can that still be considered innovation?
Yes. The thing is, and by the way, if you're listening, even if you don't want to call on a ticket, you can call to contribute or look at this as a business clinic. You have a business problem, you can call and we'll dismantle it. This morning, we're having an argument on the WhatsApp group about brands that have lasted 100 years in Nigeria. And somebody said First Bank has been. I said, yeah, First Bank is, but First Bank is originally a British company. It was part of the whole movement, the Nigerian Royal Niger Company. People don't actually understand that Nigeria is a transaction. Nigeria was sold, right? The people that bought Nigeria as a location, right, is the people also that had First Bank, and then it wasn't called First Bank then, but that's what culture we're going to. So I showed them a brand that is 100 years old that we don't notice. It's Alabukun. That's Antibimbola's. We know the owners, right? Antibimbola's, like Alabukun. We know Alabukun, the tablet, like the painkiller that is in powdered form. It's been around for 100+ years. So we talked about St. Louis sugar, and I said, wait a second. St. Louis sugar is an interesting model. Been around for over 100 years too, right? Talking about dissolve, right? It's the cube sugar that dissolves in water. But how come we don't have enough cube sugar competitors? Has anyone thought about it? Like, these guys are almost arrogantly selling us product for 50 years that hasn't even changed the pack. Same St. Louis boring blue pack. I looked at it. I'm not sure it even has an address or where it's produced. So my question is, how did you even get that number? But that's by the side. But here's the key thing. Sometimes innovation is about dissolving people like that, right? Because I've just wondered, why isn't even Dangote sugar doing cube sugar? Like, thought about it? Like, why don't they do cube sugar? Right. So maybe Nigerians are not as we're thinking as, because people are sleeping in bullion vans, literally not people sleeping on bicycles, people are sleeping in bullion vans, and you're supposed to do a money heist on them, and you're not. Like, because people have money, like 13.3% of those sugar was what they were bringing in. 200,000 metric tons of sugar by St. Louis Sugar is brought in. That's like 13.3 market. I don't want to be technical, but the serviceable optimal market of that 13.3% of the total addressable market of about 2.5 million metric tons of sugar was used. Like, somebody owns 30% on the market and nobody's even looking at the competitor for it. Apart from the woman on the roadside who's tying sugar and it's not cube sugar. If I want to buy sugar, I'd rather buy sugar in a cube of 5 cubes, 6 cubes, like Cowbell did, and like Hypo put it in sachet, than buy a whole box of sugar because I just want to drink a cup of tea. Because that's really how much we don't have options, right? People should think that out of the box. That's really what this commission is about.
Okay, so we're still taking calls to answer the question about what the 5 steps on design thinking are.
Do you want to tell them again?
No.
I feel like they didn't hear you the first time. Okay, it's 0818-242-6591 to call to win tickets. If you want to contribute, if you want to ask questions, we have about 5 minutes to wrap this up. 0818-242-6591. Free tickets, breakfast in a hotel, so you don't want to miss that.
So, Eizu, earlier you talked about like there's different types of innovations, and you mentioned one which was a disruptive innovation. Could you talk about the rest?
Honestly, from the top of my head, I'm not sure I know all of them the way they are, but there's like simple innovations, which is basically taking a product that already exists and making it simpler.
Okay.
Right. Product, and I'm trying to look at case studies for that, right? So I would say, for example, WhatsApp is a simple innovation.
We have callers, sir. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Real quick, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sumba. I'm calling from JJ.
All right, welcome,
Hi,
Simba.
Eizu.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm good. I just called in to say that you're doing a great job. I mean, both of us speak on the same board now. So I listen to you speak. I want to reaffirm to anyone who goes for that class meeting that their minds would open up, not only for innovation, but they would definitely evolve. Well, I'm going to answer the question, just so you know I've been listening. And you talked about steps, strategy steps. And S is that you must have a story.
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry, you don't want me to answer?
No, we want you to answer, but
It's a different question. So someone did already call in and answer that correctly. So you all already had expo multiple times in regards to that question. and being.
Really? Okay, what's the next question?
So the next question was, what are the 5 steps in design thinking?
5 steps in design thinking. I didn't get that one. I only have theorem for change management, so maybe. And then he talked about innovation, disruptive innovation. Is that the one?
No, not quite.
Okay. But he's a great job. I just wanted people to know that, you're not just asking them to come for something that they wouldn't have value for. They would have excess value. And this is what we need. We need people like Eizu. God bless you. Great job.
All right.
I didn't quite get where she was calling from. You said we met before?
No, I didn't get that. I didn't get that. She's gone. She's just gone.
Yeah, shout out to our community members who are listening, both PBN and Hexban Business Club. I promise I was going to give you guys a shout out because that argument about Celebrity Sugar came from PBN, Premier Business Network.
Oh, wow.
And I think that it's an amazing community for people who want to be a part of a community for CEOs and executives.
Okay. I think I have one question though. How do you measure your success at being innovative? How do you measure innovation?
The balance scorecard. We're back to balance scorecard, right?
Yeah.
You can measure it by the turnover. If it's innovative enough, more people will buy because they're excited about the innovation. So
Okay.
turnover, patronage, also experience, the gets, feedback. That's how you also measure. And sometimes you can measure feedback in very simple ways, right? I went to this bar, right, and I'm coming out to this bar and I see this what you call it, what you call the thing that when your clothes mannequin. So I saw this mannequin that says, "Oh, you're happy from the drinks you had. Punch. If you're not happy, slap." Right? It was so interesting. Like people punch and people slap, but I realized that it was automated as a counter. So the number of punches meant people were happy. Number of slap meant people could just be creative like that.
All right. Did you have more questions? Okay. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I did enjoy. I got educated and informed as well. So you wanted to say something?
No, I said it was great to have you.
It was definitely great to be here and listening. I don't have a business yet, but I will soon, and just get all the amazing, insightful, lessons on that. Of course, this show happens every Thursday.